We're live. Oh my goodness, Will. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Let me just get my mic going. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I am, just rolling into my day. Just getting up and getting an accounting of everything. Making sure I have enough water. How's your day?
My day starts earlier than yours, and and it's already been pretty productive. I had I had one of those moments, right? And this would be almost like in your wheelhouse. I have a client where it's a WordPress website. They have Divi. They've got a couple of other custom elements we've made as an agency. We've made them some really cool custom WooCommerce things, and then turn those custom WooCommerce things into patterns, and then use those patterns to build static pages and all this stuff. And then so I made videos that showed the customer how to use the tools, right? Like, you paid us to make this stuff. Here's your tutorial video. It shows you exactly how to do this, 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 and this. And then I got a, hey, Kurt, thanks for the awesome video. I made my own page, but now I have these questions. How come this? How come that? How come the other? How do I change this? How do I change that? What if I want to change this other thing? And I was like, oh my goodness. So I've already got half of that knocked out. And then, of course, it becomes a Zoom marathon for the rest of the afternoon for me, and I'll finish it up this evening. But I don't want to say it like a complaint. Like, it's an awesomely cool project, and it's really come together well, and the client's not stupid. So it makes things really, really easy to work with them, and their questions are intelligent. But sometimes their questions are intelligent enough that I have to actually go research the answers and find a workable solution. So they got a couple of things I need to probably pass over to my developer. That's that. It's fun stuff. Looks like people already took the hint. We've got a couple of things coming into chat. David Miles says, what do you think about Divi 5? Have you worked with Divi 5, Will?
No. Oh, probably, but I don't. I worked with Divi in the last few weeks, actually. But I think it's like on an older version. I think like there's like a new interface that just looks a little bit different. It's more like an Elementor interface. I can share my screen. It's if I share my screen, share this window.
Yeah, my client has not updated yet, and I haven't had to do any work on any of my other clients' Divi sites, so I have not used Divi 5 yet. Divi's one of those things where, like, I love the company. Like, Elegant Themes is awesome. I know people that work there. They're great people. When you go to WordCamps, they're phenomenal folks to talk to. But when I use the product, I do just kind of get lost. So I hope that Divi 5 is a step in a better direction, at least for me personally.
Yeah, it's a different interface. It looks a lot more like Elementor.
It looks a lot like Elementor. Deborah says, hello, guys. Deborah, it's great to have you. If you guys have any other comments or questions, feel free to put those into the chat. Also, we see some people are starting to sign into the live. So as you are signing into the live, just let us know where you're from, where you're watching from, things like that. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, especially with LifterLMS, go ahead and put those questions into the chat. I've got one that's been submitted to us, Will. I'm going to go ahead and add this in. I'll put this right into the chat. That's what I'll do. And I'll put it on all channels so everybody sees it. This question comes from a gentleman named Phil. Phil has been with LifterLMS, probably about 6 months now. So I know that Phil had some issues doing like a custom shopping cart and a custom form and stuff like that. But as to my knowledge, he has all that stuff worked out. And now it looks like he's looking to add some social elements to his site soon. Do you want to get into the difference between LifterLMS's social learning and Buddy Boss?
Sure. I was working on a Buddy Boss site yesterday too. Yeah, so if I share my screen, I think the Buddy Boss demo, you have to put in your email now to access it. So I don't have a demo to pull up of that one. But what did I do to this website? It looks different. Maybe I switched themes. Yeah, let's take a look at LifterLMS Social Learning and compare it to some of the features of BuddyBoss. Oh, I have BuddyBoss on here. Maybe I was testing something. That's convenient. Okay, so taking a look at usually what we'll see with LifterLMS Social Learning setups and what kind of social features that has. So there's a lot of options when it comes to creating a social community inside of LifterLMS. You can do something as simple as putting comments on a lesson and just have people interacting in the comments on lessons. Or you could get more advanced by adding an add-on like a BB Press or a social learning. With LifterLMS Social Learning, it adds 3 main pages. It adds a timeline page. This is going to be where every user is going to see something different depending on what courses they're in. They're only going to see the timelines available for the courses and memberships that they're in. And within those timelines, they can see events within the course and discussions within the course. This currently doesn't support photo uploads, but I think that's something that a developer at Lifter might actually be working on now. I heard some news about that at some point, so that would be cool if at some point this supports picture uploads so people can chat with pictures in the social learning timelines. But it adds the timeline feature. It adds a people directory so people can locate others on the website, see their profiles, see their courses, their memberships, their achievements, and then they have a personal timeline in addition to some social links. So it's got the directory, the profiles, and the timelines. And you even have your own profile that you can edit, upload your own pictures and your own description, and people can find you if you're in a Lifter LMS site. You want to add a little more cohesion there. The other option, one of the other options, there's so many options. BB Press is another option where it's like a forum solution. If you want to do like a Reddit style experience where you have like nested forums, I'm going to swap to Astra. So if I want to look at like a forum where it's like, okay, these are like threads, or these aren't threads, these are
Discussions.
forums. And then we have topics within the threads, and we can dive in here and reply to people and participate in a Reddit style experience. And then BuddyBoss, that's a really popular one. Let's swap to BuddyBoss and see what we can do. The BuddyBoss demos. There's the CEO. Okay. The BuddyBoss demo. I got to put my license key. I don't have all my options available, but it allows you to. Is it going to give me anything? Warning: access restricted. Yeah, I got to put in my license. I could find it, but we can change a lot of things on the website over here on the left. It's super faded, but you can see these are all of our general theme settings we'll find, where we can edit our typography, colors, headers, and footers like you can with any theme. But there's like a plugin that goes with this theme called BuddyBoss Platform. And usually I recommend when people use BuddyBoss that they just stick with the whole suite of tools that BuddyBoss has to offer. Like in terms of like you add your Lifter LMS, but you stick with the theme and you stick with the the platform that they have. And then you can create groups and private messaging and a social learning experience through BuddyBoss. It's a lot like Facebook, a lot like a Facebook style experience. So the profile section, I don't know if it's going to work. No, it's not really going to work for me. But yeah, I don't have the platform and everything installed, but it allows you to add like a profile. And so I like BuddyBoss. I think BuddyBoss is my favorite solution for social.
So the Mañana No Mas site is on BuddyBoss. The Living Hutch site is on BuddyBoss. What other? I think I have social learning on Power Sport Academy. I'm just trying to think of different projects that I've done. The BuddyBoss it's interesting to me because, like you just said verbally, and this is what I run into with a lot of clients now. Everybody loves the idea of WordPress, with ownership and digital sovereignty and flexibility, right? Being able to modify this and customize that and do this and do the other. But the thing is when you jump into the BuddyBoss environment, you're almost willingly going into that kind of walled garden. Like, can you design past the walled garden? Yeah, you can. Will it be painful? Probably. Like, I just stick with the BuddyBoss theme, the BuddyBoss platform, the BuddyBoss Pro, and then I get the features, the benefits, the social exposure that BuddyBoss adds to my site. And not for nothing, Will, you could obviously, this is objective, subjective, objective, however you want to say it. I like the design that it adds to the blog, the lessons, the courses. Like, I think it makes it really pop. I think it looks great. And so The part where I find Buddy Boss to be weak is you got to build your own homepage up through it. Like they don't have any really cool like if you're working in Elementor, you can do landing pages, you can do different templates, you can do different things. But if you're using the Gutenberg editor and you've got Buddy Boss in place, your homepage is pretty stinking plain unless you're really good at moving stuff around.
Yeah, and you could use the LifterLMS Aircraft plugin. That's one that released lately. It's a bunch of patterns that are like in blocks. So with Aircraft, if you're ever in the block editor and you're like, I don't know what pages how am I going to build out my homepage or something? Whenever you're in a pages add new, LifterLMS Aircraft, I think it's in the universe? Yeah, universe bundle and infinity bundle. We get patterns. We have all these aircraft patterns. So we could just build this into Buddy Boss pretty easily, where we're like, okay, let's put an about section and then a call to action. I'm just clicking on random patterns, but then we've got already a layout built that we can kind of work off of, and this would work within Buddy Boss. So
I think that's completely hilarious that you went to that, Will, because if I do the shared screen on my window, that's exactly what I did to my homepage. So I literally just went in, took Aircraft, dumped some things in, added my own assets, of course, changed things around, the brands I work with, a couple of testimonials I threw up in there. And then I've got a new course coming out next week. It's actually getting released. You can pre-sign now, but you can sign up in July, and it's focused on SCORM. And so we've got that course added to our site now. But yeah, I did exactly what you described. I just took Aircraft, popped it in there, and made it work. And of course, once you sign into the website, it activates all of the Buddy Boss menus down the side of the page.
Yeah, I love the buddy panel thing they have too. That thing appears on the left. I love that thing. It's like a little, and I'm doing an app with this Buddy Boss site. Like this Buddy Boss lets you deploy into an app, so that's really convenient that you can like turn your site into an app so easily.
Now, the other side of the coin, though, let's be frank with folks, because a lot of folks might be watching this and not knowledgeable of what we're actually even talking about, right? So LifterLMS has an add-on called Social Learning. I'm going to say it is great entry-level social tools for a website. For a lot of course creators, it does what you need to do. For a lot of course creators, you don't need Buddy Boss, and it's affordable. Buddy Boss is a premium third-party add-on to your website that is not LifterLMS, but integrates really well with LifterLMS, and it's not cheap. Let's just say it's not cheap. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like what, like $300 a year or something like that. Something like that.
I thought it was more than that, because you have to do the Buddy Boss Pro, the Buddy Boss theme. I thought there was more to it. Anyway, I don't remember. But it wasn't cheap, and it is separate from LifterLMS, but it does integrate directly with LifterLMS, and it works really, really, really well. And I think it looks great.
One site, $300. 5 sites, $350.
Do they have a unlimited?
10 sites for $450. No, there's no unlimited.
Yeah, I think I'm on the 10 sites package.
But yeah, it's a good one if you want to get into that. And then there was a question from Phil in chat. It's a good one. Installing Buddy Boss would require rebuilding themes site-wide. It's a good question, because no, you could add the Buddy Boss platform, which is a plugin. Not the Buddy Boss theme, but you could add the Buddy Boss platform, a plugin to your site, so then it adds that features for the messaging and the groups and things like that. I like to just go with the full suite of tools. It's just less integration work to be like, oh, does this look good with my theme? Does this not look good with my theme? Here's the CSS. But I don't know if like a lot of themes like Astra and Cadence are very aware that people are going to use Buddy Boss platform with their theme, and they've already kind of made sure there's no conflicts. So no, you don't have to use the Buddy Boss theme. You don't have to rebuild your theme, but you could also explore Buddy Press. Buddy Press is a lot like Buddy Boss. Buddy Boss was built off of the Buddy Press free plugin, which adds social features. So there might be some consideration with Buddy Press if you already have a site built out.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a staging site. We've talked about this before, Will. Have a staging site, and when you look at putting in these larger tools or these larger site changes, experiment with it on your staging site before you start playing on your production live website. like Will just said, you might get into BuddyPress or BBPress and find the tool that you need, and it's open source. You add it and you're done, and you could use your existing theme, all of that. You could put in BuddyBoss as the platform, and when you put BuddyBoss in as the platform, it actually gives you a message that says some functionality may be limited if you don't use the BuddyBoss theme. And so, but check it out on your staging site and go, is this doing what I want it to do? Is it giving me the features that I need to have? And if it works, great. You're in the win. However, if there's something that's not functioning the way that you want it to, then you might need to consider playing with the BuddyBoss theme. And we've showed you before on these lives, but you can change from theme to theme to theme without completely breaking your website. So you could try the BuddyBoss theme, and if you don't like it, go back to Astra, go back to Cadence, go back to Oxygen, go back to whatever it is that you're building in. Make sense, Will?
Yeah.
All right. For those of you that weren't aware, when you register for this webinar, you can put in questions ahead of time. And so I believe Phil was the one that had put in that question ahead of time, but also joined us live. So welcome to the call, Phil. It's great to see you. The next thing is there was someone named Deborah that was in the call. She's got questions that are in. She's put right here, I did send in questions yesterday. Did you get them? So if you see her putting that into the chat and you're like, I don't know where to put my questions in, we send out emails. We invite people to pre-register. When you pre-register, you have the ability to ask your questions in advance. One of those questions that we got is this one right here. When setting up engagements dependent on a quiz, the quiz ID that shows in the dropdown does not match the quiz ID shown in the course builder. Am I missing something? I'm lost. Are you lost?
We could dive into that. I was pulling up Deborah Sweet was actually on our podcast years ago, 2018. So
she's due to return.
100%. When setting up engagements, depending on the quiz ID that shows in the dropdown, does not match the quiz ID shown in the course builder. Am I missing something? No, you're in the right track for sure, because let's see. So you're in the engagements, right? So if we jump to engagements, the IDs of your lessons, sections, and quizzes become very important, right? So if we add engagements, these are where you can send user certificates, or like say you complete a course, you get a certificate, you could award an email. You could send an email based on a triggering event, like completing a course, completing a lesson, creating a new account. There's all these triggers where you can set up events to happen, like an email, certificate, or achievement. Achievements are little badges, but you do have some options here. So if we say with a quiz, student completes a quiz, it asks us to select a quiz, and we can see here the IDs of our quizzes. And on this website is a good example, because you see how many lessons with quiz I have on here. Because what we did is in this demo site, we have a bunch of courses. We have 19 courses, but they all have the same lessons because it's demo content. So if you look at this, and then you look at this, so saving strategy in the quick start course, if we examine over here on the right side, what is LifterLMS, why LifterLMS? And then we have that's the quick start course is different, but lesson with quiz, lesson with assignment. And then we've just cloned it a bunch of times. So for college planning, quick start course is different. But yeah, lesson with quiz, lesson with assignment. It's just sample content, right? So we have cloned it like 18 times or whatever. And so we have so many different copies. And so if I want to isolate this lesson with quiz, and I'm still on BuddyBoss, which is why my left-hand lesson sidebar looks cool. All right. Let's edit the lesson though. Launch the course builder. I'm going to find the ID specifically for this lesson with quiz. I'm looking at edit quiz for this one. So you can see the ID of the lesson is 3375, but the ID of the quiz, probably the best way to see this is in the URL. I can't zoom in on the URL, but if you look super closely, it says
3367, I think.
What's 3375? 3367 is the course. I'm wondering, 3367 is going to be our, I gotta move this up. If I hover over edit course, yeah, that's the course. I can't even see the ID of this quiz, can I?
Is it, I'm being crazy. When it says lesson with quiz 19, the permalink.
That one is not going to be the ID. I can find it. Wow, I didn't know you couldn't see this. I can show you how to find it as a developer. So what I would recommend doing is if you do like a little, like this is going to be, if I make another quiz, it's going to be 20. But if I do a inspect on this, the Google Chrome inspect, or if you're in Safari, you could inspect over here on the right side. I should be able to see information about this. Can't I didn't know you couldn't isolate this. Let's see if I can find it. Header class. This is, I feel like I'm a little bit too in depth here. We got to go into this div, into this one. Let's see if I can find these are menu items, and then we get into this section right here. Quiz editor. This is a good question. This is like, can I see the ID in here? Because of course you can change names temporarily to like mess with it if you're like, oh, I'm gonna swap the name so in the engagement system it shows properly. I think I suggested this a while back, but I guess it wasn't implemented for quizzes. Yeah, this is something. This is div header. I could keep looking into this in the background, but like, yeah, this is kind of obscure to find your quiz ID. Or maybe I'll just look at the source code. Quiz questions, quiz. Huh. Maybe we could also look at, if I look at the front end of the site, yeah, Lifter should make this accessible. Here's the quiz information. If I inspect here, quiz title, view progress. At some point, the page has to know which quiz it's loading. And so it would need to have information about which quiz I'm actively on. I just don't know if my keyboard battery is empty. ID. So my ID dash account ID. Can I see post ID? Huh. This might be something we actually have to spend some time on. Quiz and assignments.
I had to go to full screen so I could see the dang thing what you were looking at.
I found it. Okay. So it's 3377. I don't know how, as a non-developer, you're supposed to find this, but it's here. It's mine's 3377. So maybe I'll and then if I'm in my engagements, where would my engagements even at? Let's back out to my dashboard. I'll show you how to find this. LifterLMS add engagement. Student does a quiz. And my keyboard's not working because I didn't charge it last night. Student passes a quiz, select the quiz. I'm looking for 3377. There it is. Lesson with quiz 3377. So that's how I know I'm on the right quiz, because I have so many cloned copies of the same quiz. What I would recommend is looking up LLMS quiz ID when you are in the, like, so if you look at that, I'll put that in chat, LLMS underscore quiz underscore ID. And so this would be, and there might be an easier way to do this. I don't know if I'm criticizing it for no reason, but I'm looking in the editor and I don't see any way to find this. So if you view the quiz, so if we're in the editor of our lesson, our course builder, and we click on view quiz, we see a screen that looks like this. Depending on your theme, it'll look a little bit different, but then you can do view page source, depending on which theme you're in, whatever theme you're in. And then if you do on this page, so much code is displaying, but if you do like a control F for like a find, for me, oh, I gotta do it on my app here, command F, and then I would look up LLMS underscore quiz underscore ID, and it would jump me to my 3375 is my lesson ID. and 3377 is the quiz ID. I don't know. I didn't see an easier way to get this value. What's our quiz ID? That was a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I don't think we can find it over here, actually. We got a quiz. We create a new quiz. It's probably buried somewhere in here too, but it's easier to just view the page, probably. Interesting. But yeah, what do you think of that answer, Kurt? That feels like the easiest thing that you could do right now.
It feels like the right answer. And then the other thing that I missed at the beginning of the call is, folks, you don't even have to wait to the end to get this message. You can get 55% off with LifterLMS by using the coupon code that we have, https://lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. So that's how you would get 55% off. Got another question. You ready?
I'm ready.
This one actually is from Deborah. Her question that she had put into the form was, a client's access plans are not showing. What am I missing? I've never used the internal group community function, and my client wants to. How do I set that up for her?
Client access plans are not showing. What am I missing? I've never used the internal group community function.
So I think we have two questions here. So one is, how does groups work? And then the other thing is, how come the access plans aren't coming up?
Yeah, let's take a look. So I'm going to swap back to the SkyPilot theme at a Buddy Boss here, so that my
the most common thing that I think of when people have an access plan and it's published and the course is published or the membership is published and they say they don't see the access plan, it's generally because they're looking at their own website logged in.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I guess, Deborah, I don't know if you could put in chat, are you on a membership or are you on courses with your access plans? But with the access plan system, all of our courses and memberships have, I think, 6 access plans you can create with them.
Yep.
Like a maximum of 6. So we say like course for Kurt as a client. Like if I'm doing a one-on-one course or something like that, I have my access plans down here where I can say, invoice for course access, something like that.
$1 million.
$1 million. Let's see. So then I'll publish this when it comes up. There we go. So now that my course is published, I do need to make sure there's a payment gateway installed on my website, because sometimes access plans don't show up if there's no payment gateway enabled. But I do have a payment gateway enabled on this website. And so we see invoice for course access is available there. If you're not seeing them, they might be hidden, because you can make access plans hidden. If you do visibility hidden, you could do that. But I'm not really sure with the access plans what the situation would be there. It's the groups and social stuff we talked about before. I have them set up. When I click on a different browser, they're not showing. Usually these should show on every one of your browsers. Like if I jump into this website is public, so I could go over to Firefox and it would show up. I would suspect a few things, and this might be something our tech team would need to look at to see what the specific problem is, but it's either there's not a payment gateway enabled on the website, the access plans are hidden, if they're hidden right here, or in LifterLMS settings. If you don't have checkout, LifterLMS settings checkout, all the way at the bottom, we have our payment gateways. If none of these are enabled, access plans also will not show up. Paid access plans will not show up. So what I might recommend as a test would be to create a free access plan that is visible. If you go to your course or membership and do a free plan, a payment, no payment required, because if or it could be another thing. It could be if there's no block to display your pricing. So if I look at my course build here, if I look at my my courses edit page and I see that there's a LifterLMS pricing table box, it could be this too, right? So this pricing table is what grabs my access plans. So we have invoice for course access. The plan I created, if this block is not present on your page, there's no way people will find the pricing option. So make sure that pricing table is available on your page. And if you're not using, it's actually probably more likely this situation. And if you're using an Elementor or Divi page builder, there's a short code that you would use instead to display the pricing table. But you need to make sure that pricing table is on there. I think that's it.
I think that's it. I misinterpreted something somewhere along the line. It says a client's access plans are not showing. What am I missing? So you covered that. And then I've never used the internal group community function. And my client wants to. How do I set that up for her? And then I said, oh, I think she's talking about groups. But then down here she says, nope, courses, I have them set up. When I check them, it could be it. Blah, da, 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 dee, da, do. I'll check that's probably it. Da, 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 pricing block. And she's in Elementor, so she's not in Divi. I think she's talking, she says, no, the groups are the social stuff that you talked about before. So how do we set up social learning?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. With the Elementor question real quick, I'm an Elementor. A pricing table number 24 on our LifterLMS shortcodes docs. LifterLMS _ pricing table is what you need. You don't need to have product ID. This would be like your course ID or your membership ID. If you're using this shortcode and you're putting it on like your home page, then you would need to tell the shortcode which course to get the access plans from. But if you're just using it right on the course page, it knows to use the ID of the course that you're currently looking at. Not everybody knows this. Like, so in WordPress, courses, blog posts, users, they all have an ID, a unique ID associated with them. And so when we're talking about our engagements, finding the quiz ID, finding the course ID, each post has a unique ID. So that's awesome. And social learning, let's take a look. So what are we trying to set up with social learning? Just how to use it?
Just how to install it.
Okay, yeah. So if you are an Infinity Bundle user or you've purchased the social learning add-on from Lifter individually, either way, you'll find it in your LifterLMS account. My recommendation for LifterLMS users is to go to LifterLMS add-ons and more. And let me close that code thing on the right. There's my license key section. I recommend putting all your license keys in there so you can add add-ons right from the back of your website pretty easily. But you can also go to lifterlms.com and download them. But once you have your license key in here, you can add any of these add-ons. So social learning would be on here. Here it is, this orange one with the people. You can install and activate this. And once you install and activate the plugin, there's one more thing you'll need to do. It'll appear in your plugins list as LifterLMS Social Learning once you do that step. Let's make sure it's enabled in the settings. So if I go to LifterLMS settings, integrations, there should be social learning. Now that it's installed and activated as a plugin, I can check to enable it. I don't know why it's a 3-step process of like install, activate, enable, but you know, there's a kind of a 3-step process to remember there. And so student directory. So the student directory is the one I showed before, this people directory right here, where we can scroll through other users on the website. And then we can set network privacy, and then the timelines, the other page I showed. We can set network privacy. So we can say that like students are the only people who are supposed to view it, users on our website, no matter what kind of user they are, or it could be public. So you can set some privacy for your social learning page. You can choose which social medias your users are allowed to add links to within their own profiles. If you're not a developer community, you probably don't need Bitbucket. So we'll just go ahead and uncheck Bitbucket if people aren't giving each other code snippets and stuff.
I get lost in GitHub too. You might as well take that off of there.
Yeah. So you probably aren't, you know, if your people are on like Facebook, probably not Google Plus, probably like a Facebook, Instagram, not Pinterest. Right? That still says Twitter. But yeah, YouTube maybe. Those feel good. And then, yeah, so that'll limit what people can do when they are editing their profile. So if I go to my profile now and I edit my about information, it gives me more limited options for which of my social medias, because GitHub and Bitbucket are off of here now. I can edit my own bio, the thing that other people will see. And so install, activate, enable will give you those features in the settings that you can then enable and add to your menu to add that social experience. And timelines are associated automatically with courses. There's nothing you have to do to create a timeline for a course or membership. There's just automatically a timeline for every course and membership you have that is created with when social learning is installed, no setup required. Sometimes though, when you install Lifter Social Learning, it adds timeline to the URL, and it adds profile to the URL if you're looking at a user profile. So you might have to, since the URLs have changed a little bit, some new ones are on there, you might have to flush your permalinks. So I frequently go to settings, permalinks, and save at the bottom. Sometimes like I'll install social learning, I'll go to the timeline page and it'll say 404 error, and I'll come to my permalinks save changes, which flushes the permalinks. It basically asks the website to recheck which links are being created from plugins, and so then it should work for you. Yeah, it's social learning, and then you just need to make sure it's worked into your user experience in a way that makes sense. I think that part is kind of under emphasized of like, okay, we installed the plugin, we have these 3 items of functionality, but how are we going to work it into the user experience of our course and our website? Because there's things on the dashboard page where people can edit their profile and social links and stuff. There's also a timeline. I guess, Kurt, do you have any advice for people about how you functionally integrate community into your learning?
I do it in stages, and I get a little weird about this, Will. If you add a new like a bulk feature like social learning in its entirety to your site, you just throw it up there, and you don't message people, use a CRM tool to get send a message to everybody or whatever to get people excited, and realize that it becomes like this dead weight kind of thing hanging on your site. Like people don't know what it is, they're afraid to use it, whatever. So what I like to do is add things in stages. Like I might say, send out a message that says, hey, we're moving forward with a new social tool on our website. We want our students to be able to communicate with each other and personalize their learning experience. You'll notice that, all of our students now have access to their own profiles. Please take the time to complete your profile and make your first timeline. And then, maybe add the people directory as like the last thing. Does that make sense? Kind of like do it in stages so that there's content in there. If there's no content and people sign into something and nothing's happening, they think it's just dead.
Yeah, for sure. And Deborah's question here is, can you limit the group students to a specific group membership? So it's based on a membership or course access. So what I would do is I would create a dedicated membership. So if you have a few members in a membership and you're interested in trying to see like, can we get them talking and working off each other, then you could just create a membership for those people, put them in it, and then they'll have their own social learning timeline. Like Kurt said, you have a few, because you don't want it to be a ghost town where you create your timelines, no one's participating, other people see that no one's participating, and it just makes it really hard to get the flywheel of community going in that way. But I know Deborah already has some private coaching program stuff going. You already have some clients in there, so you throw them all in a membership together, or a group of them in a membership together, they now have a timeline where they can talk. And I think it's especially helpful if you use the community. I think something a lot of site creators don't do when they're boosting their community is putting uniquely valuable resources in that community where they're the main participating members. But I know that you have a lot of coaching resources you can drop in, and even if people aren't discussing or aren't commenting, it's still a resource library for people, and then they can pick up commenting at any point.
Yeah, given access to white papers or different things, especially like in leadership and coaching kind of things, really kind of enable those groups to grow pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. And can she do lives within that function, or does it have to be external? It has to be external. The social learning timelines are only text-based. Like I said a little earlier, is the images aren't even supported. So you can't even upload images to people in social learning. You'd have to like link to a Google Photos or link to a YouTube video or a Loom video. It has to be links or text, or a Zoom link or a GoToMeeting link, GoToWebinar link, external link. And I know like Kurt's done some things with live sessions within a website, like a live session support. So you could put links to like other pages. Like if you were doing live sessions, like a live webinar, I don't know, Kurt, do you want to talk about that solution where you do lives actually through a page on your site?
Yeah, I was running that WordPress meetup on Tuesday, and actually went through a whole tutorial about how to use Whereby. I'm really excited with the way Whereby works, because it the setup time is a lot less. And I'm going to put in here live meetings so that there's a link for people to see. The whereby.com is open source. It's free. Once you figure out that, you're setting up rooms, and then you can embed those rooms into any website, and it's free, that to me is gold. So I'll take that Whereby tool. I'll put that into a dedicated page in my website. Like if you go to manananomas.com/live-meeting, you're going to see I have a meeting room in there. And, I can activate it or deactivate it whenever I want, but that live meeting room is in there, and I can give that link to anybody and meet with them, at a time, open that up, and we're good to go. And so for coaches, authors, speakers, for social groups, it's kind of cool where you can just say, hey, meet me in the office, and pop in the link, and they can just come over to that page and have a live meeting with you right inside your own website. It's kind of a cool deal. I use that quite a bit. Deborah also had a follow-up question that dealt with when you were talking about the quiz IDs and stuff like that and engagements. And I don't want to ignore it. I want to touch on it for just a sec. She was saying, can you expand on that, Will? Sending the emails, not necessarily tied to the engagement trigger, where to go to set up reminder emails. And this comes up a lot. There are transactional emails that a website can send, and that's kind of like what our engagements do, notifications do. I forgot my password, things like that. But if you're trying to mass email a group of people, like a set reminder or something based on time, you're going to want to refer to a different type of automation tool, like a CRM, that would mail out to a group of people. Does that make sense, Will?
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at that again. I was looking at the ID. I'm like, is there any way I missed like this 4494?
Where is that lesson ID?
Like this is the quiz ID, and I'm like, like I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to be overly harsh. I'm like, if there's a way to find this inside of the plugin, I'm like looking at it, but I think you do have to look at the code somehow to find either 4494 here or view the page and find it. But yeah, so sending emails like in the LifterLMS engagement system, the LifterLMS engagement system is very powerful, and it's primarily designed for people who have not yet unlocked that CRM power, where they're in a Groundhog, or they're in a MailChimp, or they're in ConvertKit. They're not ready to pay to sign up for a subscription platform for a CRM. They're just trying to test their LMS viability. So if you already are integrating with a CRM, I recommend doing as many emails from that CRM as possible. But if you are getting started with WordPress, that's why engagements are free and LifterLMS out of the box. There's no paid extension you need for this. It's all here out of the box for you. And that's so that you can make an engaging website, engaging learning experience without needing third-party solutions. But there is a point where it's like, if you are using a CRM, just do all your emails through that. Because it's going to be more powerful. It's just more expensive at the same time.
That's a hard one. Like, I literally moved a lot of stuff over to the Fluent suite because I'm doing a Fluent support channel in one of my projects. So in order to use Fluent support, I need Fluent CRM, Fluent Form, and it becomes a whole suite that does things. And then, of course, an SMTP server, and then hook it up to SendGrid. And I don't think it should be lost on anyone. These calls we say, ask me anything, but this is really meant for people like getting started, if we were going to be honest. Right. And so if you are listening to this and you're like, I don't even know what Kurt's talking about, that's crazy talk. Just know we've got a list of vetted experts on LifterLMS.com. And so if you wanted to go to LifterLMS.com/experts and you needed help with, having a site done, or integrating some of these tools we've talked about, or connecting a CRM to your website, or segmenting your list with you, there's a ton of really skilled experts in that list. And you can just find someone that tickles your fancy and helps you succeed.
Yeah. And This is the example Deborah wants, is like a nudge. If students stall out in the program, I want to nudge them to get back in. That's a great feature request. I don't think LifterLMS has LifterLMS does not have a feature like that right now, but I think it is on the feature request board to have an engagement trigger of like user has not logged in.
Yeah.
Um,
Groundhog has this feature out of the box, just so you know.
Oh yeah. Like, so it says like, oh, if the user hasn't logged in, do this. And a lot of CRMs, I've done this before with like ActiveCampaign, and Deborah in the chat mentioned Keep, so you could do it with this one too. You would create like an automation or whatever they call it, like a campaign, or not a campaign, but like a little automated thing. Like they all call it something different, but where it says when a student completes a lesson, reset this campaign back to like 0, like just restart it. So like and then wait like 1 week, right? So then it's like wait 1 week and send them an email that says, hey, we haven't seen you in a week. And so it's always dripping to send them an email in 1 week. But then if they complete a lesson or they sign in, whatever the trigger is, it resets it back to start over. So if they ever go dark for a week, it'll send them an email, and then it'll reset and send them another email every week. But then if they do participate on your website, that would trigger it to start over. So they would never actually go 7 days and never receive the email. That's my recommendation. That's a little more of a complex setup. That's not something that LifterLMS does out of the box, but is something that you can do with Keep or like a ActiveCampaign or whatever. I do use ActiveCampaign mostly, but there's another consideration here, and that is that you would want to use like a Zapier or WP Fusion or REST API, 3 different ways that you could have LifterLMS talk to Keep, because you do need to make sure that like, how is our WordPress website letting Keep know that they haven't logged in a while? And so Zapier, I think you could do it with Zapier. I haven't tried this setup with Zapier before. I've done it with WP Fusion, but WP Fusion is like a more a premium tool where you can connect WordPress to your CRMs, including LifterLMS. So you can say like, you can get very advanced with the Fusion, or not Fusion, WP Fusion, super advanced with it. So WP Fusion, Zapier is okay. So if you're already in WP Fusion, that's going to be a perfect connection between Keep and Lifter for this setup. Yeah, like there might be a way to do it with Zapier too, but if you already have a WP Fusion license, that's going to be much more efficient, because WP Fusion uses the APIs of WordPress, the APIs of Lifter, and the APIs of Keep. Whereas Zapier also uses the APIs, but Zapier is a third-party service. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, where it's like step 1, your website, step 2, Zapier, step 3, Keep. Whereas WP Fusion is like step 1, your website, step 2, Keep. So it's just a 1, 2. So it's going to be a little faster and a little more data efficient, but more expensive too. Sometimes it, like Zapier gets expensive if you do it a lot.
If you do it a lot. A lot of things are like that, Will.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we are 48 minutes into the call. It's been a flurry of questions to run through, but I do want to throw up the banner again. Folks, if you got any questions for us live, go ahead and put those into the chat so Will and I can try and address what you got going on. In looking at our comments, it looks like we're getting pretty well caught up on comments. Deborah is a sweetheart. She says, thank you to both of you, and she appreciates our time. That's perfect. And she even says that's perfect. So that's awesome. All right. I was looking at our Facebook page, Will, and there were a couple of things that had come up this week, and it might be worth having a discussion, even though we've already got kind of like answers on the Facebook page. One, I feel bad. I made an assumption on our Facebook page, and I answered someone and showed them how to do this. And then I imagine they probably spent the next 2 hours trying to duplicate what I did, and then realized they didn't have the add-on because they don't have Infinity. Some people might find value in this. Is it possible? So here's like the question. Is it possible to have 2 different forms to have registration for 2 different types of courses? So let's say you have a course that is leadership and a course that's, oh, see you, Deborah. You have a course that's leadership and you have a course that is graphic arts. right? And so for graphic arts, maybe I want to record some extra information from that person, maybe what college they're in, maybe what grade level, what age they are, something like that, a birth date, I don't know, something. And then for the leadership, maybe I want to know what company they're associated with, or maybe I want to have a real simple sign on for them. Maybe I just need the email and password for them, but I want more details for the graphic arts people. First off, is that possible?
Yeah,
yes.
The Lifter custom fields. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I launched right into a Lifter custom fields demo video, slapped that up on Facebook. Like, here's your answer. Here you go. And then a couple hours later was, I don't have those check boxes on my page. And I was like, oh, dang, they don't have custom fields, because we get used to you. So I'll just throw this out there for folks that are watching this live. That's a danger for Will and I. We get used to working with a full suite of add-ons that we sometimes forget, or blows our mind, that people don't have access to a tool or to a feature, or we forget, LifterLMS comes with so much out of the box on the free core plugin that when you run across something that doesn't work, you're like, how come that doesn't work? And then you have to reset and go, oh, that's part of that add-on. And so LifterLMS has a Lifter custom fields add-on. That custom fields add-on allows us to make changes to forms, to add forms, and to place those forms wherever we want. We could put a different form on each course or each membership if we wanted to. But you need the custom fields access to be able to do that.
Yeah, and we can demo that. So if LifterLMS custom fields is available as an individual add-on, or as Kurt said, in the Infinity bundle. If I go to LifterLMS add-ons and more, we could find that one. It's probably installed on my website already. There it is, custom fields. I already have it installed and activated. So what this does is when we visit LifterLMS forms, these are in the free core plugin, right? We have our billing information, what appears on the checkout page. We have our registration form. If you happen to be bringing in people with vouchers and things like that, you would use this one. And then edit account information is when we visit the dashboard and we try to edit our account. That is the form we'll see right here. We can customize these forms in the plugin out of the box. We can add and remove things, or I don't think we can really add anything, but we can remove, like if we don't need phone number on checkout, we would edit this form. We would see that it's built in the block editor. Looks a little bit strange. Let's swap.
Looks like we already simplified this form.
Yeah, this one I'm going to swap over to Sure real quick. Reload, just to make this a little more visually simple. I'll let the block slide. Here we go. This is easier to see. Okay. So yeah, this is already simplified. So I could add my phone number back in if I wanted to, but we could see like user login is going to be the username, user phone. We can add these fields, but if you have that LifterLMS custom fields add-on from LifterLMS, which you can use that discount code that Kurt put in chat on, that at 55%, you can use that on this add-on if you want to do this, because this is pretty cool. This is like if you want to collect a license number or something, if you want to collect extra information, like Kurt said, for like a visual arts course, is different information from the leadership course. What we would do is we would go into our custom user information options here. So let's say that like with the visual arts course, let's say, or I mean, let's just say this is the leadership course. We'll say, what's your leadership style? And then we'll give them a few options.
Friend, forward, jerk.
Friend, forward, jerk. Lead by force. So you can patience. I don't know what the leadership style, but let's just say we listed these out right here, and these are our options. And so we're not gonna do what I just did. We're gonna copy this block and put it somewhere else. But we can add custom fields. So this would actually apply to all of our checkout fields. So what I would instead want to do, now that I did that and I'm realizing, is with Lifter custom fields, we can add new forms. That's the thing. We're going to add a new form. This form is going to be for the leadership course, right? And I'm just going to copy this block over so I don't have to rebuild that. My radio block, I like to use this thing called the document overview up at the top. It makes it super simple for me to see, what's going on my page, because this is so much stuff going on. It's like complicated. It's all nested. And so if I just do a copy, Command C, or do a a copy with the 3 dots. I'm going to delete this because it doesn't need to be on my general form. It needs to be over here in the leadership course form. Let's just go right there and then paste it in. What's your leadership style? What's your email? What's your address? Let's simplify this. I don't want address and phone number. Just make this easy to see. And put this at the bottom, not at the top. Okay, publish. Let's publish that. And then we can associate this with a certain course. So what I would do is go to form settings, manage location settings. Over here on the right, if you don't see this window on the right, there's like a little settings icon. I mean, that's not even a settings icon, it's just a little sidebar. But if you go to form, manage locations, we're going to select a course. I don't have a leadership. Do I have a leadership course?
I would just do the quick start course.
Quick start course. So now this form is going to display on all access plans of the quick start course. I could even go as specific if I say like only if you buy this one certain access plan do I want this form to show, but let's just say all access plans of the quick start course. Let's just do that. So update. So now if we go to our quick start course right here and I view it, I don't know if I have, okay, awesome, this is perfect. I have a free access plan, right? And so it's gonna, it just enrolled me. Oh, because it was optional. Oh, okay, so I made my radio button optional, so it doesn't need me to fill this out. I wanna make it required. How do I make it required? Over here in block, this is required. I need to know what your leadership style is for you to enroll in this course. Now I gotta kick myself out of the course and re-enroll.
You better hurry up, you only got 4 minutes left.
Yeah, it won't take too long. Order, I've submitted an order. Gosh. I gotta cancel my order. This is canceled. This is unenroll. Update. Let's update this. So I'm canceled. Now I can go back to my quick start. Hopefully this time, I should make me fill it out. Wait, it did make me fill it out?
It still had you enrolled in the course. It had you as canceled, not unenrolled.
If I jump back to orders and I go to this one by Arthur Wells, it just happened. Make it expired. It's now expired.
And then see where the red button says delete enrollment?
Okay, let's throw that away. Then reload this. Let's try again. I wonder if it just skips it.
And you're the admin.
I'm the admin. Oh, that's annoying. So let's just go to an incognito. Well, I could log out actually. Log out. Sign me up. Okay, there we go. So here's what's my leadership style. Now that I'm logged out. So, yeah, so this is available on this course, right? But if I go to my other courses, like the technology course, technology courses, I'm not going to see what's your leadership style asked at checkout. What? Did I mess this up somehow? I feel like I might have messed this up. Let's make sure I didn't. I gotta go sign into my site again because I kicked myself out. I don't know my password. Let's mine view, and then that'll make it so in this page.
You might not have saved it when you removed the block from the regular form.
That makes sense. Leadership course.
Because you were clicking like a madman.
Yeah, so it's in my leadership course, and this one is supposed to display on the Quick Start course only. That looks great. And so you said I didn't remove it from this one. The general billing information. Looks like I only have three blocks in here. Yeah, I only have the 3. Last name can only be used once. I don't understand. Yeah, it looks like it was removed though. I don't know what I've broken. Something within what I've done here is wrong. I might need to submit a support ticket and be like, what did I break?
Support ticket on your demo site. People will hate you.
I think they'd like that more because they can see it. Like that's the biggest annoyance in support. It's like I can't get access to your website and I'm not allowed to change it. But if you send someone a staging site and you're like, look, you can break it. All access plans in the course. I don't know. Something I did was probably wrong in this process. You should watch the tutorial that I made 3 years ago, and it slipped my mind.
Well, you know what time it is, Will.
Yeah.
It is that time. Folks, if you want that 55% off coupon, you want to go to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lms.com/AMA-gift. There's no dots, just AMA-gift. Will, people can reach you on social somewhere, right? They can find you on YouTube.
Yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me at my my YouTube with LifterLMS content, like Will Middleton LifterLMS. You'll find me out there.
Yep, and I'm all over LinkedIn as well. So, folks, that wraps up another episode of Ask Me Anything, and we will see you next week.